what's up, Rams? Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Local Beats, presented by 90.5 KCSU Fort Collins, your college radio station. I'm your host, Haley Justino, and for this episode, we were lucky to host an in-studio performance by local band Native Station, and afterwards we got the chance to sit down with them for an interview. Native Station is an alternative band based out of Boulder, Colorado that combines reggae, pop, and rock to make catchy, upbeat music. They released their first album, Shifty Shifty, The Harvest Sessions, in June of 2017, and they have several upcoming local concerts planned for March. Here is a quick taste of their sound.
I am empty, like a dog with the fleas. I am restless, and you're impossible to please. Oh, how to carry, oh, how to carry. You are perfect, you're so out of my league. Oh, I am Jesus. Us, lower beings, oh, how to carry. Look how you cut me so deep. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I am desperate for some type of loving, and I am eager, oh, so eager to please. I am willing to do about anything for this heaven. Would you please acknowledge me? Oh, how to carry.
How to carry, how to carry, how to carry.
So deep, oh yeah, 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 yeah. If I die before I wake, put a letter, burn the cake. Bring me back to finish things, bring me back to finish things. Hey, the G to C to E, every song just sounds the same to me. If I die, if right now. Stay so bright, you'll have no choice. See me breaking pretty lights now, way I slip to ignore. Yeah, yeah. Right now, stay so bright, you'll have no choice. See me bringing pretty lights now, pretty license to, red license to make some noise, yeah. Red license to, yeah, 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 yeah. The song is called Todd. Cork, now we're drowning our thoughts. The shine in your eyes tells me everything's lost. Tells me everything. I box your monster, we're so young and gone. So turn on by your brain that you give me a song. Your youth was your burden, I was waiting was mine. Read into silence, read all along the line. To slip mountain rain. Just how many fractures do you think we'll take? Pick up all the pieces, how they get off away. I scattered them in the Atlantic to rest. Not holding our breath. Holding our breath. Get your head out, your. I swear we've gone over this at least 1,000 times. Get over yourself. Get over yourself. Get strong and tell the tallest tale. So get over yourself. We are drowning our thoughts. The shine in your eyes tells me everything's lost. Pop off the cork and now we thing. I swear we've gone over this at least 1,000 times. Go yourself. Go yourself. Oh, won't you please, when we get drunk, you tell the tallest tale something over yourself. Over yourself. When we get drunk, you tell the tallest tale.
Incredible. I really love their energy and how much they got into the music. Stay right there because we sat down with Native Station for an interview after the break.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
And we're back. After their performance, we got to sit down with our featured local band, Native Station, for an interview about the band's roots, song inspirations, and upcoming performances. Hi, I'm here with local band Native Station, and would you guys like to introduce yourselves?
Sure. My name is Thomas. I play lead guitar.
Awesome.
Greg, rhythm guitar and vocals.
Brett, bass.
Brandon, keyboards.
I'm Nick, I play drums.
Awesome. Well, thanks for being here. I've just got a couple questions for y'all today. Just have a couple of questions for y'all. So 2 of you I read are from Virginia originally, and I wanted to know, what brought you out here from Virginia to Colorado? Why didn't you go, when people want to make it in music, sometimes they go to LA, sometimes they go to New York, but what brought you to Colorado?
Well, we were in a small town in Virginia. Colorado has a pretty good music scene, and so we wanted to come out and try something different. Never been this far west, so a lot of it was just a scene change, a little life change, and a lot of it was just kind of propel ourselves a little bit.
Yeah, and then what brought you all together after you two moved out here? What brought the whole band together as a whole?
Craigslist.
Yeah. Isn't that how it is nowadays?
Yeah, for sure.
But then what then made the band stay together after that Craigslist brought you all together in space, and then what kept you all together making music for about 2 years now, I think?
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of a natural chemistry. It was like, it wasn't too hard. Like a lot of times if you're trying to play with someone, you struggle. You're like, oh no, do this, do this. There wasn't a whole lot of that. It was, we haven't known each other for a whole long time, but it was as if we knew what, where things should go and who should be doing what. So it was, when it comes that easily, it's a little bit easier to stay together.
That's awesome. So how does the writing process go? Because I've been listening to your music, and the lyrics tackle a lot of different topics. How does that process go? How do the lyrics come about? How does the music come about? What's that like?
Typically what we've been doing is Greg kind of comes in with like a skeleton of a song, and then we kind of just build on top of it. So Thomas will put a lead guitar part over it, or I'll put a keyboard part on top of that, and it kind of just builds organically from there.
That's awesome. What things inspire you to write lyrics? What things inspire you to write lyrics? Because like I said, there are a lot of different topics. There's like love songs, and there's also some mental health, some talk about politics as well. So I was wondering where that all comes from.
I'll read a lot of stuff. I guess newspapers aren't necessarily a thing anymore, except for you've got news pages. So I read a lot. I read a lot of stuff like that. keep up to date on the news, current topics like that, and I've always been one to sort of just stir around those kind of think pieces, and that's just the way it comes out for me.
And are you the main songwriter?
Yeah, so I gotta do like the lyrics part.
Does anybody else have any song lyric input? It's just mostly Greg?
Yeah, bounce themes every once in a while,
That's
like
cool.
you know, for inspiration. But yeah, Greg primary for sure.
Awesome. So then I wanted to ask about, you just released a mixtape last year, the Shifty Harbor Sessions mixtape, and that has 17 songs on it, which is a lot more than your first release, which was a 4-song EP. How did you go about, you know, putting out 17 songs? That's a lot of music for kind of any band, really. So I want to hear the process.
A lot of this
on
material has been created before all 5 of us were together.
Gotcha.
You know, was written before they made the trek out here to Colorado as well, and so some of those are old tunes, a lot of them are new, but they all take all 5 of our influence on that mixtape. You know, once we're all part of it at that point, and creating our parts. And so while some of the songs are old, they're all new in a way because we've put our rendition and our creation to it.
That's awesome.
Definitely.
I wanted to ask also, on your website, it said that you're looking to do a fall tour this year, and you're also looking to release a couple singles. Can you give us any information about that beforehand, or is that all top secret stuff?
So we don't have any dates for fall tour yet. It's something that we're just kind of actively planning, and we have stuff recorded single-wise. We don't have a date to release those yet, because I mean, to be honest, we don't have a whole lot of visuals, like music videos, a whole lot of pictures, like a lot of, and all the art, all the visuals that come with this music is like original, and so that's something we want to tackle a little bit, is some video as well. So we're going to try and get all that together at the same time, rather than just doing what we typically do and just throwing out songs.
Gotcha. And then the last question I had was about the first song that you played, Harakiri, right? I wanted to ask, you know, Harakiri is ritualistic suicide. Why? Then why the topic? I didn't really see the topic so much in the song, but then why the song title of it?
Yeah, that's just a metaphor. So it's a metaphor for I guess the pains and the things you go through in a relationship. So it's just the idea that, you know, you willingly put yourself in relationships. Usually, I don't know how. Yeah, usually, yeah. So usually you put yourself in the relationships, and so like the idea that, you know, you really put yourselves in situations that often end up harming you, and so that is where the idea of that suicide comes from. You know, where it's, you know, slowly killing you, but you know, you're sort of to blame for it.
Interesting. And then my last question was about kind of your sound. There's a lot of different genres in it. Sometimes it's very just rock, sometimes there's some slower ballads on the mixtape as well, and then there's some reggae song to it. So how do you encapsulate all these genres, and how do you put them together into this music, and why do you do that?
Great question. I think we all kind of come from different musical backgrounds. And I think we all kind of bring that background into our playing, into, you know, what we contribute as part of Native Station.
And one thing we try to do, like as a band, is, you know, when you're listening to a playlist, you know, at least my playlist has a whole lot of things. You know, when I grew up listening to all kinds of things. So I like putting together things I want to play. So I like to touch on, you know, all those things that I used to listen to. So that's all, you know, we have that diversity because it's fun too.
That's awesome.
Big thanks to Native Station for putting on a great performance and for having an awesome conversation with me. We're going to take a quick break, but stick around to see what's happening in the world of KCSU.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course.
put away a few bucks, feel like $1,000,000. For free tips to help you save, go to
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
You're watching KCSU Presents Local Beats, and up next we have some awesome concert footage captured by the KCSU video department.
Mine broke for a second. Alright. That means your soul is broken too?
This footage taken by KCSU Video from the final show in the Essential Sound series presented by the Mishawaka at Road 34. Wirefacers performed February 3rd to a packed house and was testing out their latest foray into adding visual components to their acts. The visuals on the screens were connected to the sound waves coming from vocals and both guitars, leading to a trippy, surreal experience for the audience. Veterans of the Colorado music scene, Wirefacers put on a high-energy show with songs reminiscent of Devo and similar synth-pop rock bands, while still making their sound incredibly their own. I'm always so impressed by our Fort Collins local music scene. Some of the most high-energy shows I've ever been to have been at venues around town. Fort Collins definitely knows how to rock. After the break, we'll be taking a look at reviewing some of the newest music being spun at KCSU.
You are listening to 90.5 KCSU Fort Collins with DJ Meanbeat,
DJ Nightshade, DJ Wildcard. Music to me is
one of the best creative outlets that I can think of.
An escape from the real world.
Music to me is an expression of love.
To go from like folk to hip hop to like classic rock, 1960s bossa nova. With music, there's like no boundaries.
I work here because I love music, and you do too.
Listen, I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you judge me for having a problem. No one is going to know that I need help. I need help. I know that no one is going to judge me for having a problem. I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you listen.
Welcome back, music fans. At KCSU, we are happy to bring our listeners one new album every day. Let's take a look at the freshest albums we're spinning this week. First, we have Kira, the debut release from Toronto-based electric group Keys and Crates. This album encapsulates a variety of sounds, from upbeat bangers as well as some slower but powerful jams. My favorite track is Glitter, a synthy, bass-heavy groove featuring the smooth vocals of Ambre Perkins. Up next, we have some classic soul from Million Miles off of the Berry Hills EP. The song Ice Cream and Cigarettes sounds like you've stepped out of a time machine back into the 60s and 70s. The lyrics tackle the familiar topic of life post-breakup, yet Million Miles decides to view getting over her heartbreak as a positive, happy expression of loving herself. But what's in the water up in Toronto? Because Canadian artist Bahamas brings some chilled, laid-back jams on his latest release, Earth Tones. Bahamas reminds me of similar artists such as Jason Mraz and Trevor Hall. The harmonies and vocals on the track No Wrong give me goosebumps. Up next is the ethereal sounds of New York-based indie band Fovea with their newest album, Pencil Me In. I like the song Cost Of for its deceptively complex rhythm, instrumentation, and vocals. Their sound is definitely something I would lay on my bed and listen to while staring at the ceiling. We're lucky to have the fourth studio release from unique art pop group Tune-Yards called I Can Feel You Creep Into My Personal Life. You might have heard their music before after their 2011 album Who Kill received critical success and played on shows like Orange is the New Black. Their new song Heart Attack is an eclectic bop with a very interesting music video. Moving on to some classic rock, up next we have the latest album from Iowa-based band group The Nadas with One Louder. I was fortunate to host a live on-air in-studio session with members of the Nadas at the beginning of this semester, and they played the song If Everything Goes My Way, which is my favorite off of the album and is a solid dad rock jam. But we don't play only indie rock, pop, and R&B at KCSU, because up next is some easy listening country Americana from Pennsylvania band Binley Hardwire Co. and their album Ever Satisfactory. I recommend the song Honey Baby for its rocking guitar solos because it reminds me of some good old-fashioned southern rock. And ending on some metal, we've got the theatrical Swedish metal band Avatar and their album Avatar Country. Like many European metal bands, this album has mystical and magical themes. Check out the track The King Wants You for some heavy riffs and shredding solos. You can find our playlists with these songs on the Collegian Spotify account, or to hear these new albums and many more, tune into 90.5 KCSU Fort Collins. We at KCSU make it our mission to bring you a diverse range of latest and greatest music the world has to offer. Now I'm going to be going a little more in depth and review another new album we have in rotation. All These Worlds Are Yours is the second release of Stockholm-based artist Holy. Tackling lyrical content such as the extraterrestrial and clairvoyance, Holy enters a realm of breathtaking, otherworldly psychedelia. Though extremely reminiscent of David Bowie and the later Beatles years, Holy is a sound all of its own. The airy vocals of Premonition, It Shines Through, may induce an out-of-body experience, while the sturdy bass line and synth keeps the listeners on the ground throughout the 6-minute adventure. My favorite track, Heard Her, reminds me of a modern Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, with heavier guitar and drum fills. The 8-minute-long title track, All These Worlds Are Yours, is a accumulation of many different and seemingly juxtaposing vignettes, yet Holy weaves and molds them expertly into an epic music journey. Guitar, piano, drums, synth, violin, vocals, and probably so much more, all working together to create a uniquely special music experience, unlike anything you've probably heard in this universe or the next. Thanks for watching this episode of KCSU Presents Local Beats, and thank you for supporting all branches of Rocky Mountain Student Media.